Hi everybody, welcome to Missy's Imaginings. Today I am going to go over some things I received in a package, and I was looking online, and you know how you get ads for this, that, and the other thing, and the Temu, anyway, however you pronounce it, the ad came up and I thought, I'm curious. So I didn't shop through the ad because sometimes I don't trust those links. So I went out of the app that I was in and then I actually logged in to, I think I did temu.com and then, logged into what came up. But I wanted to see what they had in the realm of fabrics. Not fabrics per se, but laces and, odds and ends. And so I did order some things, and I am so pleasantly surprised. Now, fur especially has been hard for me to find in colors that I want. So I found faux furs, and then I also wanted to look at their laces. So I thought I would show you kind of the collection I have and then how much it cost. So I have 2 pieces of faux fur, and then I have 2 substantial sized applique lace pieces that we'll look at. And then I got 2 of the same type of just by the yardage lace, and then another kind of like yardage type lace. So I thought we'd look at these. All of this cost about, I think it was about $6. Because I had used, let's see, I had I think a $5 coupon that came through because a Temu order that I did a long time ago, it was like a day late in arriving, and so I got like a $5 credit. And then there was some weird shopping discount sale going on. I don't even know. I can never keep track of what it is. But all of this stuff I got for like $6. So just the faux fur alone normally would have been like that. So let's take a look at what we have here. The first one is blue, and it looks to be, let me grab my ruler. Let's see here. And I should put my glasses on so I can see the numbers on the ruler. That will probably help. So it is, oh, wrong way, 9.5 inches square, I believe. Let's double check. Yes, so it's 9.5 inches square, which is perfect for what I want because I want to make wigs out of it. So I found this beautiful ice blue that I've been wanting and looking for at different fabric stores and never been able to find. So I was very tickled. I found the exact color I want in an amount that gives me plenty of room to make probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 wigs depending on the size. So this lovely ice blue. And then I found, and what's the actual color of it in case you're looking for it? Medium blue is what it's called. And then this piece is called lilac. So it's kind of an icy purple color. So a very light lavender color, the same size. And it's a nice long nap to the fur. And so yeah, I really, really am tickled to find that. So those 2 pieces alone, usually you're going to pay at least $2 for this much when you buy it online, because I've bought fur online before. And so yeah, I was tickled to find that. Then we have, let's see, this is the one that's its own. I find, and this was called, well, let's see, it just says white and a number, so I think you have to kind of look at what it is. But this one is kind of like a stretchy type lace. There's elastic in it, which is wonderful for like a skirt type thing, or if you want to go over the shoulders. I just thought it was really cute. So there's this piece, and it's that long. I don't know how long that is. We can measure it for you. Let's see. So we've got, I'll try not to stretch it. got 18, let's see, so about 20, no, it's roughly a little longer than 24. I think it's like supposed to be 2 feet, and then they give you a little extra on each end. So there's this piece, and like I say, it's stretchy, and it has the pleated layer down here, and then an actual lace layer, and then ribbon that is smocked into the elastic. So yeah, it looks really cute. So I got that piece, which was fun. Then I got 2 of these, which is also kind of like lace that you buy by the yard. I can find how to open it. Oh, here it is. So this one is a wide edging lace. So there we go. Isn't that pretty? So yeah, it was like, $1 or something. But I love this, and I got 2 of these. This would be perfect for the outfit that I just did to go on like the sleeve portion. That would be like the lace overlay part of the sleeve, so that it would drape down over fabric with those little points draping down. I thought that was lovely. And so I got 2 of these. It actually turned out to be a little bit larger scale than what I thought it was going to be, but still very usable. So I have 2 of those. This is the same thing. Then these pieces were applique pieces that I just thought were beautiful, and I can cut them apart and use them on different types of garments. But it has like 3-dimensional flowers and some beading on it. It's an embroidered applique, and so you can use it for all different kinds of things, and you can cut out the pieces that you want to apply to wherever you want it on the garment. So this is like a silver and gold, which I thought was really pretty, or gray and gold, I guess, but silverish gray. So I got this piece, and then this one is the same type but in pink and blue, so we'll hold, and gold. So here we go. So this one's pink and blue and gold. We'll hold that up. But they're just gorgeous, and lots of layers in here. So it's just, I've never seen anything like this available at like my local store. And so when I saw them online, I thought, well, I want to try that. So yeah, these pieces are really nice pieces. The quality seems really nice. And yeah, like I say, it cost about $6 for all of that. So I was very tickled. I'll go ahead and take this one out since we're unbagging them. Now my garbage is getting kind of full in there. But then this is the second piece, like that first one that we looked at. So, well, not first, but there we go. So those pieces I bought on Temu, which I thought, that's fabulous. I am very happy with the selection and the sizes, because doing doll clothes, I'm not needing tons and tons of yardage. And so I was able to get a good variety of things for not very much money, and the shipping was free. So I don't know if that was a promotional thing. I'm not sure. But if you go on, log on, a lot of times they'll do like a little spin thing, and you can get like an instant discount. I'm not sure how any of that works, but I will say that what I bought, I was happy with the price and the product, and it arrived in decent time. So that's what I got from Temu. Then I was surprised. Whenever I'm in Dollar Tree, I always check out just the crafts section and little things, and I actually found these 2 bags were on a little end cap by the registers, but they're just little seed beads. So for $1.25, I got some white ones and then a variety bag. But I thought, well, those are cute, and I was running out of some colors, so these were $1.25 a piece, and so that's comparable to probably what you get in Walmart, but I think there's actually more in here than in the ones that I got at Walmart. So yeah, so just another avenue to check out if you're looking for craft supplies that can be incorporated into what you're sewing and making for your dolls. So these are really good if you're doing jewelry items, or if you want to bead a garment, or if you just want to use them as like buttons on the top in place of like actual buttons. You can use beads. So anyway, yeah, so those are my latest finds. And our project today, hence the title of the video, it's kind of like a new, I don't know if it's a new series or just a new category that I'm going to maybe do. You can let me know if it's helpful or if you enjoy it. After the long process of doing the gown that we just did, I thought, okay, I need to do something that won't take as long, but still gives me a little bit of a creative outlet. So what we're going to do is put together an inside-out jacket. Not totally, but I don't know if any of you would remember this. I remember because I'm kind of old. But I remember being in school in like junior high, early high school. So like from 7th to 9th grade for me, which would have been, oh, let me see, like the late 70s, early 80s-ish. That inside out shirts were like the thing. It was like a big fashion thing. And simply it is having the seams on the outside of the garment. So the seam allowances show, and not all the seam allowances, but a good many of them. And it was like the thing for a while. I don't know if it's a very good fashion trend, I don't know, but I thought, you know what, I want to try this. And also I have a whole bunch of little pieces of selvage fabric. So what we're going to do is we're going to put together a denim jacket inside out fashion. So I have, let's look over the pieces here. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but for the sleeves, I have some light blue railroad print stripe fabric, and this was off of another garment I think I salvaged. So it already had hemmed on the bottom, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to use it. So I don't have to hem the sleeves, it's already hemmed. And so I did this for the sleeves, and it seems like I had something else. Oh yeah, and the front yoke will also be this fabric. And because the seam allowances are going to show, I did cut this on the bias so that the lines don't go straight up and down or across, they're diagonal. So it will help the way the edges of the fabric fray. So I don't know if that's going to work, but we're going to try it. Then for the front, I had more of this embroidered denim. So this is going to be the front, and the back is this embroidered denim. So we'll have that for the front and the back. What else do I have? I had an optional pocket that I cut out first, but because the front and the back are embroidered, I may not use that pocket. I don't know. Then I have just some pieces from that denim for the back facing and the front facing. Then on the collar, I have some dark denim. There we go. And then the back yoke is the dark denim. And then the waist band at the bottom of the jacket, like the hem band, is the dark denim. So we're going to put this together and experiment as we go. Hence, tips and tricks and techniques. So we're just going to see how this technique turns out, so that you can see if you'd like to try something like this. And I'm not sure that all the seam allowances will be on the outside, but probably those regarding the piecing of the yoke to the front, and the yoke to the back, and then perhaps the shoulder seams is what I'm thinking will be like inside out. And then the rest would be normal. So we're going to go ahead and switch up the machine and just see how this goes. Now, because the seam allowances will be on the outside. I don't think I'm going to serge them on the outside because I want that edge of the fabric to show. So I may end up like top stitching down some of the seam allowances just to help hold the fabric in place. So as it unravels, it's not just like flapping in the breeze. So we'll have to play it by ear and see how it looks. But it's just something I thought we'd try, just for something that's a little bit different. So if I mess it all up and it doesn't work, then you don't have to do it. So we'll go ahead and switch up the machine and get started on our project. The first thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and put together the front and the yoke. So I will create the front pieces, and then the back will have a small inset pleat. So it will kind of do this, so it'll bring that together. So it'll have a little bit of an inset pleat that will kind of end up looking like this, just for room in the back. And then I will attach the back yoke to the back, and those are the seams that I'm going to have actually show. So that's the prep work on the front and back pieces. Then on the collar, I will sew with right sides together, I think on the collar. Well, I don't know, maybe we'll do the same thing on the collar. But I'll sew up the side, across the top, and down the other side. And then on the facings, I will be putting the shoulders of the fronts together to the shoulders of the back and get those pieces put together and then serge around the outside edge of that. So that's kind of the prep work that I have. So yeah, so that's where we'll get started. are the pieces thus far. So we have our front yokes connected to the front, and I top stitched the seam allowance down. And because this one was cut on the bias, I think the little ruffle turned out perfect. So I'm very happy with that. I did notice on some of the edges that were cut straight with the grain that it can just become undone. I don't have any sharp pinking shears, which are scissors that are cut so that they go, I don't know how, there we go, now we can see them in the camera. And I have these, but they're very old and they are not sharp. But if you have pinking shears and you cut along the edge, it keeps it from fraying. But these are pretty dull. They don't really work. So what I did on the edge of this, if you don't have pinking shears, I simply snip, 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 snip this direction. Then I turn it over and snip, snip, snip the opposite direction, and then kind of fuzz it out, which means it gives me the frayed edge, but see how it kind of looks like it's done with pinking shears? And so it will fray a little bit, but it won't fall apart. And it'll just kind of stay like this. And so that's one technique you can use if you don't have pinking shears. It takes more time, but it does help. And let's see, I don't think I even have a piece of scrap fabric to show you mine that don't work. Well, maybe a piece of paper? I don't know if that'll work either. Let's see here. I don't know if they're sharp enough. Oh, there we go. So the paper will work, but it just cuts so that you get a zigzag edge. And so that kind of helps keep fabric from fraying. But if you don't have those kind of scissors, then you can always kind of do it by hand, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but that will give you that little zigzag kind of edge so that it will look frayed, but it won't fall apart as in just layers and layers of strands coming out. So I have the front and the back put together at the shoulders. I did the shoulder seams as normal because I don't want that frayed edge on the shoulder seams. On the collar, I did trim off some of the ends because the collar is made to fit with the seam allowance inside. So if I don't trim any off, then it probably won't fit. And I trimmed a little off. I may end up needing to trim off a little bit more when I actually fit this to the garment. So if I have to trim in a little bit more, I'll continue to do that little zigzag just to make sure the length will fit into my garment. So I have the collar done and it's frayed. I did the facing just like normal. So this is the inside facing for the back and the fronts. Then the little pleat is put in, which gives a little bit of extra room in the back pull. So that's just kind of for fun. And yeah, so these pieces are done. The next step will be to actually fit the collar in and then put the facing in and sew that. So I will be putting I want the dark blue to show rather than the light blue. So the light blue will go next to the right side of the fabric so that when the collars turn out, the dark part will show. So I will be centering the back, and then on the facing, the right side to the right side will be sandwiched with that collar in between. And I've done a small little slit on the center back so I can match that. And then I will pin it from the center to the outside. The next step I need to do before I can fit those together is I will be snipping inside this neckline around these curves like so, and I'm going in not quite to where the seam line would be, and I'm going to make an actual V at that center back one so I can tell the difference from the rest. And then I will snip these. So I'm just snipping about 1/4 inch apart and not quite to where the seam allowance is. There we go. Okay, so that when that's snipped, it kind of opens up to more of a line so that when you feed that through your machine, it'll feed through easier rather than trying to sew around a curve. Like we mentioned in other videos, we can kind of lay it out and sew more of a straight line through the machine. You just have to be careful and keep your fabric pulled away from the needle line so that it doesn't get caught and pleat in there. But that makes it a lot easier to fit your pieces and to sew it. So I'll be snipping along the edge of the collar and then along the edge of the neckline as well. Then I will sandwich that collar in between the right sides of the garment and the facing, and then I will be sewing that edge, and then I will sew the front, the center front edges as well. So that's going to be my next step before I put the sleeves in. So once the collar's in, then I'll go ahead and put the sleeves into the armholes, and I will also snip those curves. I will double baste around the top edge of the sleeve and then kind of gather it and then smooth it out as I fit it in. When I do put sleeves in, I always start pinning from the outside of the arm and work towards the center so that any extra gathers will be at the top of the shoulder, that if there's any gathers remaining, that way I don't end up with gathers like under my arm. So on the collar, I always work from the center back out, but on the sleeves, I always pin from the outside in to the shoulder. It just helps to where things fit better and then they look better. So once we get that much done, I will come back to the camera. So here's where we are so far. I have the sleeves in. Now I will sew from, and this, I know I mentioned I was going to put the sleeve seam on the outside, but I got it all pinned and started and then realized, oh yeah, I was going to do it that way. So sometimes muscle memory just kind of takes over. So anyway, so now I will go from the sleeve cuff up to the underarm and then down the side. And then the only last thing, I'm still debating, should I put on the pocket? I don't know. Because I only had enough for one. I think since I can't do both, I'm going to skip the pocket. If I could do it on both sides, I would go ahead and add the pocket. But since I don't have two of these, there literally wasn't enough fabric for another pocket. So I'll go ahead and just forego the pocket. But so now I'll just sew that seam in, and then I will go ahead and put the waistband on the bottom, and I probably won't have any raw edges for that as well. So my raw edges showing for the inside out will be the collar and then the yoke part, which I am happy with how that turned out. So yeah, I don't think I'll do it on the waistband. Yeah, I don't think I will. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I'm not sure yet. So I'll get this much put together and then I'll debate on the waistband, and then when I come back to the camera, we'll see what I decided. Well, I decided to go ahead and have the seam show on the outside of the waistband. Let's see, I think I'm just going to go ahead and have it go down just like the other ones come down here, and on the back it comes down. So on the hemline it will come down, but the end of the jacket will be finished. So what I'm going to do is I've sewn that with wrong sides together so that when I flip it, my seam allowance shows and I now see the right sides of the fabric. But I do want the end, to be finished. So what I'm going to do is, I know it would be hemmed on the inside, so I'm going to turn the very bottom raw edge so that it's turned over just as if you were going to hem it, like this. Then I'm going to bring that up even to where the seam is, like this. And now I'm just going to sew right along the edge of where that meets the edge of the front jacket, so it will continue that front seam, and then that edge will be finished. So we'll do that. Let's see here. Am I still in? Let me move my camera here a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to put this into the machine, and don't want quite that much folded, just 1/4 of an inch, just like my normal seam allowance is, and line that up. Okay, so now I'm going to sew just that little end that's even with my jacket front. I'm trying not to get in front of my camera so it'll look really wonky. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and I'll back tack to anchor that. There we go. And there we go, and I'll pull that out here and trim my threads. Alright, and this is a little bit longer on this side than the other, so I'm going to just trim a little bit of that raw edge. Okay, just a little bit. Now, what happens is I fold this in and flip it like this. So then that gives me a finished edge here, and then this will be hemmed by hand with the edge of the waistband on the inside of the jacket, but then the outside will have the seam allowance, and once it's done I will go ahead and I will top stitch here, but that's what the finished edge will look like on my jacket. Here, I'll try to get the lighting a little bit better, and then this will have a layer of top stitching to help hold that down. So yeah, so that's how I'm going to finish that waistband. And I'll get that done and put the snap closures on, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at the finished jacket on one of the fellas. And here is our finished jacket. So we have all the embroidered front displayed here with no pockets hiding any of it, and I'm glad I didn't put the pocket on because I like the way the embroidery looks. The little inside out seams pretty much look how I thought they would look, so it just kind of adds just a little bit of a different touch to it. And then of course the sleeves were already hemmed, so I didn't have to worry about cuffs there. The back has the little insert pleat, and I was glad that even with the little pleat it looks like the embroidery still matches up pretty well. So I thought about that after the fact, and I was pleased that it still looks pretty good. And then our little raw edge seams there, and then again on the hem. So yeah, that's what it turned out to look like. I did do some small golden beads that, oh, it just looks like my camera doesn't want to focus. But they're just little barrel shaped beads that have a little bit of a decorative design on them. And so I did that for buttons. So of course there's snap closures, and yeah, so that's kind of the new technique to take a look at if you decide you want to try it, to have some of your seams actually inside out so that they show on the finished garment. And I will say, because this fella has pretty broad shoulders, I think if I do this again I may widen this yoke, just widen the back a little bit to give a little bit more room for the shoulders. It's not too bad where the edges of the sleeve hit the shoulders, but I think it could do with a little bit more width there at the shoulders. So that might be a little alteration that I might make, or you might choose to make. This pattern is already on the website. It is the half kilt pattern, and it's kind of, I think it's called like a shirt jacket. So that is already posted if you'd like to give this pattern a try, as this produces a completely different look depending on the fabrics that you choose. So yeah, that's what this would turn out to be, with denims of different kinds and the inside out seams at the meeting of the yoke and around the bottom edge and then on the collar. So there you go, just something fun to try. I hope it's inspiring and that you have a wonderful week. See you next time. Bye.